Hello, my lovely students in 4th primary. How are you? أنا متأكدة إن most of you know that place value is one of the very important concepts that helped us اللي بتساعدنا to read and write whole numbers and compare between them. Today in lesson 3 of unit 10 titled The Value of Place. هنتعلم النهارده how to name the place value of decimals to the hundredths place. We will also كمان هنتعلم ازاي نحدد ال value of any digit in the decimal to the hundredth place. We will start our lesson with access part on page 72 in your school book. Let's see it all together. Here in this activity, as you see, it is called mystery number. I will read and هقرأ ال first riddle thinking aloud with you. هنفكر مع بعض بصوت عالي. Now I want you to focus. عايزاكم تركزوا كويس قوي عشان every word in this riddle has a meaning. كل كلمة هقولها في الريدل دي ليها معنى كبير قوي. The first thing we know is that the number we asked to find, النمبر المطلوب مننا ان احنا نكتبه لازم يبقى made up of 5 digits. ده معناه ايه؟ ده معناه that the places we will use, you will see here, هستخدم ايه؟ هستخدم ال ones والtens وال100 وكمان ال1000 وال10,000 because it is formed of 5 digits. وكمان عارفين ان الديجيت اللي في ال100 place, here is the 100 place, لازم يكون prime number ويكون اقل او less than 6 و greater than 3. Okay, less than 6 greater than 3. طيب I thought of prime numbers. هو البرايم numbers اللي هم ايه؟ What are they؟ طيب كلنا عارفين ان البرايم numbers دول prime numbers are numbers have 2 factors only. ال1 والنمبر itself, right؟ طيب زي ايه؟ فاكرين البرايم numbers؟ Yes, prime numbers اللي هو 2 و3 و5 و7 و11 و13 and so on. So the digit in the 100 place will be what? يبقى ال 100 place هيبقى 5. ليه؟ عشان ال 5 prime number وكمان it is less than 6 و greater than 3. يبقى I will write in the 100 place 5. طيب كمان البروبلم بتقولي ان الديجيت in the 1000 place, here is the 1000, okay, لازم يكون product of a number multiplied by itself. يعني number times itself. والvalue بتاعه لازم يكون greater than 1 و less than 5. طيب تعالوا نفكر كده في النمبرز that are the products of a number multiplied by itself. يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ يعني ممكن اقول 1 times 1 او 2 times 2 او 3 times 3 او 4 times 4. مش كل دول numbers multiplied by itself. طيب يبقى الديجيت في 1000 place ممكن يبقى ايه؟ ممكن 1 times 1 اللي هو 1 او 2 times 2 4 او 3 times 3 9 او 16. طيب بس في شرط تاني ان لازم الديجيت اللي في ال 1000 place يكون a number that is greater than 1 و less than 5. طب ايه النمبر الوحيد اللي greater than 1 و less than 5 ويكون product of 2 numbers multiplied by itself? Yes, it is number 4. Number 4 فيها كل الكونديشنز او الشروط اللي انا قلتها دي. So I will write 4 in the 1000 place. We now know a 2 digits of the number اللي هي ال 100 place وال 1000 place. طيب دلوقتي انا فاضل لي لسه 3 digits left. It says that in the number there is a 0 في ال ones place. يبقى هاجي كده عند ال ones place وهحط 0. And there are 2 tenths. Of course this is easy. حط 0 في ال ones place و 2 في ال tens place. What's left is the number in the 10,000 place. فاضل لي آخر ديجيت اللي هو في ال 10,000 place. طب هو كمان قايل لي في البروبلم بتاعتي إن الديجيت اللي في ال 10,000 place عبارة عن 3 times 10,000. يعني هو مديني النمبر ده as what? Yes, it is written in the decomposed form. يبقى أنا المفروض هكتب إيه في ال 10,000 place؟ Yes, هكتب في ال 10,000 3 only in the 10,000 place. Now we have now reached the solution to the riddle, and the number is, تعالوا كده نقرا النمبر 34,520, right? After answering the first riddle, I will give you some time to answer the second one. The most important thing, أهم حاجة هنا, as we said before, is to focus, نركز قوي على كل كلمة بنقراها في الريدل عشان كل كلمة ليها معنى كبير قوي. And after we have finished, تعالوا بقى نقرا الريدل together. Here is the second one. And find the answer step by step. At the beginning of the riddle, we know that the number is made up of what? 3 digits, right? One of the digits is a whole number, while 2 other are decimal fractions. تعالوا كده نشوف هنحلها ازاي. That means we will only use the ones in the whole. Here is the ones in the whole, and the 2 digits in the decimal parts. Okay? And here is the decimal point as you see here. طيب, the riddle tells us that the number in the hundredths place, في ال 100th place, is what? Makes the identity property of multiplication. طيب, زي ما عرفنا من that the lessons we learned before, إن ال identity property of multiplication اللي هي إيه؟ 1. So I will write 1 in the 100th place. It also problem كمان بتقول لنا that number in the ones place is odd and prime. يعني odd وفي نفس الوقت prime. يبقى طبعا مش هكتب 2. احنا عارفين ان 2 prime, but I will not write 2 عشان 2 is the only even prime number. طب ممكن اكتب ايه؟ ممكن اكتب 3، ممكن اكتب 5، ممكن اكتب 7 because 3 و 5 و 7 are odd وكمان prime. طيب, لكن النمبر لازم يكون factor of 9 و 12 وكمان less than 4 و greater than 1. طب ايه البرايم نمبر اللي فيه كل الكونديشنز دي؟ يس، هلاقي ان 3 only هو factor of 9 and 12. So I will write 3 in the ones place. وكمان 3 هلاقيه less than 4 و greater than 1، يعني فيه كل الكونديشنز او الشروط اللي انا عايزاها. So as you see here, I write 3 in the ones place. In the end, البروبلم بتقولي ان النمبر in the 10th place here is the only even prime number. مش احنا لسه قايلين مين النمبر الوحيد للايفن prime number؟ Yes, it's 2. So I write 2 here in the 10th place. يبقى so how can I read this number? Yes, it is 3 and 21 hundredths or 3.21. After using the place value to answer the 2 riddles, we need now to learn محتاجين نتعلم more about using the place value, especially with decimals. This is what هو ده اللي هنركز عليه النهارده في درسنا in build on page 72 in your school book. We know from the first term, yes, let's see first page 72. We know from the first term or term 1 that the decimal number system is based on the tens. يعني ايه الكلام ده؟ ده معناه ان في place value chart every time we move to the left we multiply by 10. يعني ال value of the number increases 10 times. والعكس when we move to the right I divide by 10. معناه ان ال value of the number decreases 10 times. Before we move on, قبل ما نكمل, there are some questions. في questions مهمة قوي لازم نبقى عارفين الانسرز بتاعتها. For example, لازم نبقى عارفين هو أنا عندي how many tenths to form one whole. يعني ال one whole فيه كام tenth؟ وسؤال تاني ال one whole فيه كام hundredths؟ سؤال تالت ال one tenth فيه كام hundredths؟ In the previous lesson عرفنا إن that we want to draw a model for one whole. تعالوا كده نشوف الكلام ده. Here is a model for one whole. طيب الموديل اللي احنا شايفينه ده has 10 parts أو 10 columns. لو عدينا columns دول هنلاقيهم 10 columns. We can express each part using the unit fraction 1/10. يعني كل كولم من دول represent 1/10 أو 0.1 لو كتبتها بالديسيمال. So 10 tenths equals to what? 1 whole. يعني دلوقتي ال 1 whole equals ل 10 tenths. Right? Okay. In the previous lesson, we used the 100th grid model to represent the 1 whole. تعالوا كده نشوفها مع بعض. Here it is. It is divided into 10 rows with 10 columns. لو عدينا rows هنلاقيهم 10 rows وكمان 10 columns. يعني كلهم 100 squares. كل square represent 1 100th. يعني كل square واحد represent what? 100th. Okay. So that means in 100 100th equals 1 whole. 100 100th equals to 1 whole. Okay. We can notice that كلنا ممكن نلاحظ دلوقتي ان each column represents tenths, right? كل column represents tenths. Okay. It is divided into 10 squares. لو بصينا على الكولم ده هنلاقيه divided into 10 squares. كل square فيهم represent 100ths. ده معناه ان ال 1 tenth equals to 10 100ths. يعني 1 tenth equals 10 100ths. Right? 1 tenth يعني 1 column represent 10 100ths. Now we will move on to build on page 72 in your school book. Let's see it all together. Here, as you see, we will practice more and more on reading decimal numbers up to the 100th place using the chart in front of us. زي ما احنا شايفين كده, we know reading numbers depends on the place value which we reviewed together. عايزة أكد على حاجة مهمة قوي, إن الديسيمال number made up of 2 parts separated by a decimal point. اوكي, الديسيمال بوينت دي لما اجي اقراها بقراها and. اوكي, on the left side of the decimal point او قبل الديسيمال بوينت بيبقى عندي whole number made up of ones و tenths و 100. يعني انا لو عندي decimal point هنا قبلها بيبقى فيه ones وبعدين tenths وبعدين 100. and after the decimal points عندي البارتس بتاعتي اللي هي ايه, tenths and 100ths and so on. Okay, so after the decimal point I have tenths and 100ths. So we read the decimal point from left, we read the decimal number from left to right. ده معناه ان انا بقرا الاول الwhole number and then we see the decimal point وبقول عليها and او بقراها and وبعدين I can read the decimal parts. اوكي, ولازم في الاخر اقول ال place value of the last digit. ممكن يبقى place value في اخر digit يبقى tenths او 100ths or anything. يبقى مهم في الاخر بقول ال place value بتاع the last digit. تعالوا نشوف الكلام ده when reading this number. If I have 2.25 هقراه ازاي؟ Yes, احنا اتفقنا ان احنا we read from left to right. اول حاجه اقراها الwhole number اللي هو 2. تعالوا نقراه مع بعض. يبقى here I have 2 whole and 25 100ths. ليه قريته كده؟ عشان ال place value of the last digit is 100. يبقى 5 ال place value بتاعها 100ths. اوكي؟ so تعالوا نقرا نمبر تاني. if I have 5.6 هقراه ازاي؟ يس, انا اتفقت اول حاجه بقراها الwhole number. يبقى I can read it as 5 whole and 6 tenths. ليه قلت 6 tenths؟ عشان ال last digit اللي هو 6 ال place value بتاعه in the 10th place. We could also not say, ممكن على فكرة ما نقولش whole. يعني ممكن لما اجي اقرا النمبر ده اقوله 5 and 6 tenths. Right? Okay. Here in the chart, في الشارت اللي قدامنا دي we have a model expressing ones or one whole. اهو الونس عندي اهو. And that is a large square divided into 100 smaller units زي ما احنا شايفين كده and fully shaded. وكمان عندي tenth expressed by one column. Here's the tenth. The big square that consists of 10 columns. كل column divided into 10 small squares. Expressing what? Expressing the hundredths. Small squares دي one square expressing the hundredths. طيب أول number هقراه اللي هو إيه؟ تعالوا كده نقرا مع بعض. This is the first number. I can read it as 5 and 67 hundredths. زي ما انتوا سمعتوني كده بالظبط. أنا بقراها when I was reading the number. I took a small break. بقراه بالراحة خالص عشان أقدر أفرق difference between the whole number and the parts أو the decimal parts. تعالوا نقرا كده the second number. The second number I can read it as 4 and 9 hundredths. Okay? تعالوا كده نقرا the third number. Here's the third one. I can read it as 3 and 11 hundredths. تعالوا نقرا كده fourth one. This is the fourth one. I can read the fourth one as 9 and 50 hundredths. ما ينفعش أقول 9 and 50 only. 9 and 50 hundredths, which is the place value of the last digit. Now in problems 1 to 4, numbers was written in the chart and we read them. دلوقتي بقى تعالوا let's switch the rules. هنعمل العكس. في problems from 5 till 9, here you will write the numbers and I will tell you the numbers and you will write them in your school book. Here in problem number 5, you will write the digits of the number. يلا write with me. 5 and 24 hundredths. In problem number 6, we have this number. Write with me. 1 and 9 hundredths. In problem number 7, we have this number. Write it. 5 tenths. And in problem number 8, the number is 2 and 11 hundredths. The last number we have in problem number 9 is, yalla, write with me, 4 and 100. And the answer will appear on the screen now, so you can check your answers by yourself. And after writing and reading the decimal numbers, بعد ما كتبنا وقرينا decimal numbers, now we have in problem number 10 a drawn hundredths grid model. تعالوا كده نشوفه مع بعض. Okay, here we want to shade the units of the grid to show how 5 tenths is equivalent to 50 hundredths. عايزة أعرف how many 5 tenths equivalent to 50 hundredths. السؤال ده مهم جدا. Now I'll give you enough time to shade and we will answer them together when we get back. And now, after you have finished, let's solve it all together. We know كلنا عارفين إن ال 1 column represent 1 tenth, right? كل column من دول represent what? 1 tenth. عشان ال grid has 10 columns. لو عدينا ال columns دي هنلاقيها 10 columns. طيب دلوقتي أنا عايزة 5 tenths. يعني هعمل إيه؟ Yes, so I will shade 5 columns. تعالوا كده let's shade 5 columns. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. ال 5 columns دول represent the 5 tenths. If you count لو عدينا كل السكويرز اللي أنا عملت لهم shaded دول هنلاقيهم إيه؟ Yes, هنلاقيهم إن هم 50 squares. So ده معناه إن إيه؟ ده معناه إن 5 tenths equals to 50 hundredths, right? 5 tenths يعني 5 columns equals to 50 squares out of hundreds, right? In the second part of build on page 73, تعالوا كده نشوف the second part of build. Here in this page we have a game. I will use the digit cards. عشان أعمل إيه؟ عشان أعمل decimal numbers. And do further practice through reading them. I will try this game with you now. You can also play this game with your friends in your classroom as practice for our lesson today. Now we have a cards أو group of cards from 0 to 9. تعالوا كده نشوف الكاردز مع بعض. Okay. Here, now I have the cards. معايا 9 cards. Okay, I will shuffle them like you see. Okay, like this. وبعدين I will choose 3 cards randomly. Okay, so the first card is 9. I'll put it here. The second one, like you see here, 2. I'll put it here. The third one, I will choose 6. Okay, so here I have the 3 cards, like you see here, 6, 2, and 9. تعالوا نكتب بقى decimal numbers or different decimal numbers from these 3 digits. طيب, the first one I will write them in order. يعني هكتب 6.29. تعالوا نقرا الديسيمال نمبر ده مع بعض. Okay, I can read it as 6 and 29. 29 what? Hundredths. 6 and 29 hundredths. Because as we said, لازم أقول ال place value of the last digit. تعالوا بقى نستخدم نفس ال 3 digits and form another decimal number. I can write it from here. يعني هكتب 9.26. So, can you read with me this number? Yes, it is 9 and 26 hundredths, right? 9 and 26 hundredths. طيب, تعالوا نستخدم نفس ال 3 digits, but this time I will write different decimal number. So, I will start with 2. So, I will write 2.69. تعالوا كده نقراه مع بعض this decimal number. Yes, it is 2 and 69 hundredths. 2 and 69 hundredths. And now, after we make decimal numbers from the same 3 digits, تعالوا بقى let's head to the connect part on page 73. طيب, تعالوا نشوف بقى مع بعض connect part on page 73. Here, as you see here, this is the connect part. Here we have the number 532.89 hundredths. زي ما احنا شايفين كده, this is the number. And the group of questions about the place value that we are asked to solve. And now I'll give you some time to answer them by yourself, and then we will discuss the answers. Here in problem number 1, أنا متأكدة إن أنتوا كلكم قدرتوا تحددوا the value of the digit 3 in the number, وعايز ال value of digit 3 in this number. طيب, the value of 3 is what? Yes, the value of 3 is 30. طب ليه 30? Because it is in the 10th place. And identify, عايزين نحدد the digit in the 100th place. This is the second question. Okay, here, فين ال 100th place? It is the second number on the right of the decimal point. Second number on the right of the decimal point اللي هو مين؟ اللي هو 9. 9 in the 100th place. أنا متأكدة إن أنتوا كلكم قدرتوا تحددوا to identify the value of the digit in the 100th place. 100th place, where is the digit in the 100th place? It is the third place of the whole number. To the left, or on the left of the decimal point. The third place to the left of the decimal point. اللي هو مين؟ اللي هو 5. يبقى ال 5 is in the 100th place and 9 is the 100th place. يبقى ال value بتاع ال 500 is what? 500. Place value of 5 is the 100. يبقى ال value بتاعها 500. طيب, the digit in the 10th place is the first digit on the right of the decimal point. اللي هو ايه؟ اللي هو 8. Let's see. So, He's asking me about the digit in the 10th place, which is 8. So write here 8. Now the fifth question, like you see here, fifth question ده مهم قوي. بيقول لي ال 100 دايما greater than the 10th. طيب حد يقدر يقول لي ليه بقول ان ال value of the digit in the 10th place more than the value of the same digit in the 100th place? Okay, now I am sure that the model representing the one whole and its relationship to the 10th and 100th ده هيساعدكم كويس قوي to understand that the more we divide the one whole into parts, كل ما أعمل dividing لل one whole to more parts, the less the value of the unit fraction will be. As we have learned about the fractions, and that's why one part of 10 parts هلاقيه أكبر من one part of 100 parts. أوكي؟ طيب أنا عايزة أفكركم بحاجة، ليه بنقول إن ال 10ths دايماً أكبر من ال 100ths؟ لو كتبت 1 over 10 اللي هي 1 tenths وكتبت 1 over 100ths اللي هي 100ths. اوكي، مين اكبر in these two fractions؟ فاكرين لما كنا بنقول the same denominator يبقى the one with smaller denominator is bigger than the one with greater denominator, and that's why كمان ده بيأكد لي ان 1 tenth greater than 100ths or 1 part of 10 greater than 1 part of 100. And now you can scan the QR code shown here or at the start of our lesson to be directed to the practice part or check your understanding in your math textbook on the Egyptian Knowledge Bank. Now we have 4 problems similar to the ones we solved together. In problem number 1 here, as you see problem number 1, we are asked مطلوب مننا to write a number with 5 ones, okay? with 3 tenths and 4 hundredths. طيب أول حاجة هعمل إيه؟ I will write every digit in its correct place. So I will write first the decimal point. قبل ال decimal point ال whole number أو ال ones اللي هو 5. 5 ones. 3 tenths and 4 hundredths. So I will write after the point 3 tenths and then 4 hundredths. And now I'll give you another example in problem number 3. Here, as you see problem number 3, I want to write the decimal number shown with the model in front of us. The part representing the ones is 100th grid model. يبقى ال ones بتاعي is 1 whole. شايفين ال 1 whole ده؟ هو ده ال ones بتاعي. Okay? And each one of these small squares is 100th. And because we have 10 parts, if you count them, you will see 10. ده معناه إيه؟ ده معناه إن 10 hundredths, right? 10 parts يعني 10 hundredths. So the number will be 1 whole and 10 hundredths. طب مش 1 whole and 10 hundredths هي نفسها 1 and 1 tenth, right? مش احنا متفقين إن 10 hundredths هي نفسها 1 tenth. Now you can answer the rest of the problems in the same way, بنفس الطريقة. And finally, we have finished lesson 3 of concept 1 of unit 10. تعلمنا النهاردة the place value of decimal fractions to the 100th place, and we were able خلاص دلوقتي نقدر نحدد the value of a digit to the 100th place. See you in lesson 4 with a new way of writing decimal numbers. Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.